welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. It's Monday, so you know what that means.
It's news time.
Come on. And you know what? It's one of my favorite episodes of the week at this point. There's always so much happening, especially as we close up the year. New games dropping. We're just talking about squeezing in some game reviews before the end of the year that we got to before our award show.
I don't feel as much pressure with the news as I do with the games. It's a different level of participation, I'll say.
Yeah, although I will say, I think we're overdue for a good interview or two.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a little bit, but we'll get to that.
We took a little interview hiatus, but
it's definitely time for one of those shortly soon. But today is Monday morning news. So to kick it off, I'll be honest, it's not really like a news item because the game demo kind of came out a couple weeks ago. But I want to start it off by giving a huge shout out to a game called Maestro, the Masterclass.
Yeah.
You tried it before me.
Yes.
And right now it's available on the Oculus Quest or MetaQuest App Lab store as like a probably like 20-minute demo.
Yeah. I mean, you could play it for 20 hours if you want. But
yes,
actual gameplay, 10, 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, right now on App Lab, there's a tutorial, which is very well done. And then, a live concert that you can do. That probably
you play an official
song.
Maestro standing up in front of a full orchestra with, all the instruments, and you have a full packed true opera house type setting.
But the song you do is probably like only 3 to 4 minutes. So between the whole tutorial and that one song, which, like you said, you could keep replaying that one song.
Yeah, they'll let you keep doing like how to be a maestro tutorial where they have more than just one song. So.
Yeah, when you load in, there's only the option of how to do the Masterclass is what they call it. And then after you beat that, then you have the option to either do the Masterclass again, like you said, do that infinite amount of times, or you can go right into playing the concert. There's an option right underneath that. But the tutorial is so well done in it. I mean,
the game is absolutely polished to the gills.
Yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out. It's made by developers and published by Double Jack. I mean, just this demo, this 15, 20-minute demo, it's got a 4.9 overall on the App Lab store.
How could it not?
With 155 ratings and 89 reviews.
For a free, not just for a demo. Yeah.
And it seems like it's out on Steam for, what do you say, like $30?
Yeah, I think 29 something.
Yeah, so it seems like you can get the full game on PC VR, but it's
so
coming.
Jelly.
Yeah, you were telling me this is a day one buy for you.
No, the second that it's available on the East Coast, I will own it.
Well, I mean, like you load into the game and it's hand tracking based, so they're like, put down those controllers, baby.
Yep, you ain't using them.
Nope, they say you can either do it hands free, or if you want, you can hold some sort of stick in your hand. A spoon.
The Maestro wand.
Yeah, I used a pen in my hand. I won't lie.
I'm actually shocked you didn't use the magic wand you have from your costume.
I just didn't want to dig it up. It's in my garage right now
because I could totally see getting a real Maestro wand when the whole game comes out to actually have the. That's what they should do, is sell a limited edition.
Yeah, if I didn't want to just hop right into playing, I would have went and dug that wand out.
I did not use anything in my hand. Yeah. I just did, my hands closed.
But the tutorial starts, and even on the home screen, it kind of there's like a news article right there that kind of references what you're going to go through in the tutorial. But you're
the new Maestro in town.
Yes, there's the guy's holding auditions, so you go there, and then he teaches you step by step each gameplay element. It starts with, because it's a rhythm game, so it starts with he teaches you how to move your hand, in the direction that the arrows are coming, which is one thing, and then you'll learn like pointing at people. There will be like this circle that comes around them and it closes, and you have to point with your finger, and it's like their solo moment. You learn how to do like raising the notes higher, lowering them, keeping them going with your hand open. Then you close your hand when the bar hits the circle. Yeah. So there's a bunch of different stuff, and they teach you it kind of element by element. And then at the end, you do the whole concert, and not the whole concert. You do a song. A song with all of those gameplay elements, and then you get a final grade from your performance in the song.
Star ratings.
Yeah.
Star ratings.
I was proud of myself. I thought I was going to get a 3 or 4 stars. Got 5 stars on my first time. I was so excited.
No, the demo is very forgiving when you're conducting the orchestra. And if you start making mistakes, like to a bad point, the orchestra will stop. And it's funny because like all the instruments will stop, and maybe you'll hear a couple of strings going. And then I actually heard a guy in the audience. This is what I heard. Like, you're choking. It's
No.
funny, but then it just picks back up. But even screwing around with that, I've got a 4-star. So I was like, okay, they're just being very, very forgiving for the demo purpose.
And in the tutorial, it's like right off the top, the composer guy, who's ever hosting the audition, you see him and you're like, damn, the character models are so good. And then you see the rest of the people playing instruments. When you see the crowd, I think some of the best graphics I've seen on the Quest 2 for character models.
Yeah, if someone was asking me to rate the graphics on like current, I'd give it a 20, a 20 out of 20.
It was like
For sure.
really well done. And even in the tutorial, there's kind of a story that goes along with the tutorial. Not a story fully, but there's a lot of character interaction, a lot of dialogue. They did a great job making the tutorial engaging.
I am stoked for day one.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, as it stands, I have nothing bad to say. I was dying to try it anyways, but I will say, like you were mentioning, like they tell you, how to move your wand around.
Mm-hmm.
They give you technically, I'm thinking the way it's supposed to be done. Like if you're a maestro, like the up, down, left, right, you'll notice like you just don't jerk it top, bottom, left, right. There's like a flow that goes with it.
They even say like, hey, if there's 4 notes coming, like this is the best
Yeah,
way to
this is
flow
the
them
way that
from
you're.
note to note.
So I was like, shit, I bet you that's really what they had to do. But then it got me thinking, like, wow, I always thought being a conductor was just literally like, I don't know how you get the fucking job, but you stand up there, they put a little stick in your hand, and you go, tick, 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 tick. Everyone quiet, please, and then you start because
you're controlling the
yeah,
notes.
I had no idea that there was so much involved, and I'm sure there's even more. Plus the whole presence or the fact that you're like on stage with your back turned to like 2,000 people.
Oh, you better believe I got into character. Like when they opened up the curtain and the whole crowd was there, I'm turning around, I'm waving. I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's go. When I got the 5 stars, I was clapping my hands. I was like, thank you.
I was telling
Bowing.
I was doing, I had both my hands in the air and I was like, everyone be quiet. Maestro is in the house.
The show is beginning.
And then it has you tap your little orchestra podium.
They also have the notes that are like, you got to like use both of your hands coming down or it comes diagonal. You know, the yellow ones. Because the regular ones are white notes.
Two-handed or just open-handed.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. By the end, when I was doing the concert or the song, it was so fun doing all the different arrows and pointing, raising my hands. It was
I did
a
it
blast.
a bunch of times just because I'm like, all right, I didn't know how far it was really going to go for the free experience. And I won't lie, at first when I saw the get on my button, I was like, oh shit, this is great.
But it's only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'll buy it today, the full experience. Like
I'm a little
I'm sold.
concerned of the $30 price tag we might see, but
Well,
it won't be the first App Lab game to drop a $30 price tag.
I'm sure somebody who's played it on Steam can tell me, but I'm curious if it's going to be like a full campaign, like you know how the tutorial is with the dialogue and everything like that. I wonder if there's going to be a mode that's more of that, or if it's literally just going to be pick songs.
I have no idea what they're going to do for the Oculus.
Oh,
I'm excited, and
so
I would tell people now, if you haven't tried it, try it. You know, wet your whistle with becoming a maestro, and then gear up for the launch.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen anybody say a single bad thing yet.
No, what can you say? It's free.
So much fun.
The graphics are absolutely amazing.
Great
the
use of hand
gameplay
tracking.
is freaking cool. And we always talk about like saturated markets, and rhythm games is a pretty heavily saturated market.
I say that all the time.
They're able to have you do a rhythm game, but kind of like make it
Unique.
Definitely its own thing. I've never played a rhythm game where my left hand is controlling, and it's no easy deal because you'll be doing shit with your left hand to different sections of the orchestra. And then those notes are coming that you have to wand with your right hand. So
to me,
I'm all over this.
This and Unplugged are in their own category of rhythm games.
Yeah,
it's like you
cool
can't
to
even
see
compare
another hand tracking only rhythm game.
Not doing the same instruments that everybody else does. Nobody's done a composer yet. Nobody's done a maestro.
Nope. So
ooh, I'm excited. And
keep our ears open for this.
Another thing you sent me was, a VR documentary. They're very short. It's a 3-part series.
I'd say like 30 minutes for all of them, maybe 45 tops.
I think one's 12 minutes, one's 13 minutes, and the other one's 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's really not that long, but it's made by a production company or a VR documentary company named Targo. They've done a couple other ones, like they did that Remembering 9/11 documentary.
Which I think they took a little criticism from a group of people about, just because of the nature of the whole. But
I'm pretty sure the documentary was like following a survivor of it. So
I mean,
what are you going to criticize about that?
It was just the fact that people were,
because
it was people who didn't see it, who were making an opinion based on just what they saw and didn't like the idea that that's what they did.
Yeah, when it first came out, I saw some people thinking that it was, without even looking into it all, they were thinking that it was like a VR recreation of the being in the towers, it getting hit, and it's like no. It's a documentary about
if you actually read the description, it kind of gets you to want to see it.
But Targo, they're a very good
Emmy nominated,
yes.
studio. So
but this one's called Behind the Dish. Like I said, 3-part series, all about food, and I'm a big foodie. I love food shows, cooked, all the, if a new one's dropping on Netflix, anything. I love food shows. I'm a big foodie. So the 3 episodes are called A Twisted Soul, the other one's The Starred Chef, and the third one's The Sushi Master. I don't know if they're supposed to be watched in a specific order, but I watched them in the order of A Twisted Soul, then the sushi one, then The Starred Chef.
I watched The Starred Chef first, The Sushi Master, and then A Twisted Soul last.
Wow.
That's how it showed up in my...
For me, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
That's how I just watched it in the order that they showed up, but I don't think it really matters how.
No,
but
they're not intertwined.
No, and each one kind of follows a different, what I would call culinary master in their respective field.
Gastronomy experts is what they are.
Right? One's a girl who runs a soul food restaurant that looks so freaking good. The other one's a girl who runs a sushi restaurant. And then the third one's a 6-star Michelin chef. She has 2 different 3-star restaurants, which anybody who knows Michelin stars, to get 2 different restaurants be 3 stars is insane.
Well, yeah, because the standards... I mean, so many chefs could be a Michelin star chef, but to maintain that standard and then to have to want to do that is like, it's a whole new level of being a chef that, like, I personally feel you lose a lot of liberties because you have to adhere to specific standards.
Yeah.
But to achieve that, and dude, 6 freaking Michelin stars.
Well, that does kind of prove a little thing that the main criticism I've heard people have of Michelin stars, because again, I'm a big foodie, is that they have a very big bias towards French cuisine. And then in comes the the French chef, and she nails all the Michelin stars. But it seems like Michelin really likes that small plate style.
Well, and it's one thing to get a Michelin star in a male dominated industry, but it's no secret.
6?
It's no secret that they really lay heavy on the fact that there's not as many women chefs getting the notoriety that they deserve in the food industry. So for her to not only get one Michelin star, but then be given the 3 and then get 3 more is like, I mean, on paper, it's, I'm telling you, I got the feels from each one of these, not to the point where I was like, oh, I'm crying, but just the stories, their life stories of where they were to how they got to where they are.
Like the soul food one. Same with the sushi
every
chef.
Single
yeah,
one
every
of
single
these
one. Yeah.
Hit me the same way for their own individual reason.
Yep.
That I walked away from it saying, oh my God, this is the emotional food journey I never knew I needed to personally go on or hear. But it's freaking fantastic, dude. The stories alone are compelling. The video aspect of it, of their 3D VR macro photography is the only thing missing was the price tags of the dishes.
Right. And I don't want to give spoilers on the story. Like the only reason I mentioned the 6-star aspect of
it's in their description.
Yeah, and it says it in the first like 10 seconds, but I don't want to give like a breakdown of why each one of these stories were so good, but they're only 12 or 13 minutes. It goes by so quick. So it's a very easy watch, and they kind of all follow the same format where like it'll give you an introduction of the person, and then they pick some like local ingredient. They show you where they get their ingredients for the restaurant, and then they give you kind of where they're at now, and it's a really good format. I liked it a lot, and I agree because because there's kind of two different camera styles that happen in it. There's one that's, your typical 3D camera, or not 3D camera, I'm sorry, VR camera, the 360, where, you can look all around. It's on a street, but then they also do, like you said, the almost photography. It's real what they're showing.
Yeah. They're putting signature dishes together right in front of your face.
But like it might show like a guy cutting some sushi, right there. And those are probably the highest quality images I've ever seen in a VR video.
Those were some of the highest quality food images I've seen, period.
It was amazing.
I mean, Netflix does a great job with their food shows. They really do. And especially like when they're doing their competitions and you see it. But I've never seen food that close in front of my face. Like you could almost, like you want to taste every one of those meals, especially the, oh my God, the soul food.
Yeah. Dude. Seeing all oh man, I love soul food.
But I do want to say, I believe the soul food lady's name is Deborah Van Treese.
I think she's in Atlanta, right?
I think it's in Atlanta. Yeah.
I would need to go back and
even in the description, it doesn't tell you it's Atlanta, but I mean, she used to, I don't want to give away her story.
Yeah.
But
they're very good watch.
Helen DeRose. It's spelled fancy, but I believe it's translated in our monkey tongue to Helen. So I'll say Helen DeRose, who's the 3-star or 6-star, we'll say. Dude, how bad do you want to go to her restaurant?
Yeah. How much do you think it costs?
That's the thing. I'm thinking. And then my favorite name, Yumi Chiba, for the sushi chef.
The one that I'd be most realistic to go to is the soul food one.
Yeah, dude, I'd go there. When I found out it was in Atlanta, I'm like, I mean, international airports right there. You could, and I'm like, really, you're gonna fly to Atlanta for soul food? But I would.
Hey, there's jiu-jitsu tournaments there if I'm ever in Atlanta.
This lady's got an amazing story, and she, they all do.
Yeah.
But each one of them actually emotionally touched me as well as compelled me with the food.
It did make me yearn for the day that VR cameras are a little higher resolution. Not that anything in this was low quality either, but it was like just because of how high quality those rendered images were in it. And it was like, the day that VR cameras get even better and better, it's just going to become a better medium,
Yeah, there's some on the sides, I'd say, like for the interview one with Helen there, when you're looking at her sitting there, if you look to the sides as your eyes catch it, it's not as tight.
Yeah.
You can tell it was like, it was spliced together or whatever. But I do want to give him a huge shout out. This is the dumbest thing, but I was like, this has so much potential right now that I don't know why and there probably is. Someone can call me out on it. I'm fine. But they were able to take photographs and then 3D them.
No, the way that it looked in VR.
I'm saying how cool would it be if like you could take, photos of your family and throw them into the, a VR app and then be able to have them and see them in 3D like they did. So I do want to give them huge props on, it would seem so simple, and maybe it was, to take an old photograph from 50 years ago and 3D it. But yeah, I was blown away by that.
Yeah, no, so hats off to Targo, one of the best VR documentary production companies. Anything that has that Targo name going forward, I'm giving a watch. That was very well done.
Yeah, no, they give a shit about what they're doing. And I would encourage everybody to.
And again,
especially if you love food.
I was going to say I'm biased. I love this food stuff.
But I mean, even if you don't, I think you'd enjoy the stories. The stories were good.
Yeah. So, now on to actual VR news. That way we kind of gave the shout out to two little experiences that we've been enjoying throughout the week. But
well, not for nothing, they're both free. So it's not like we're telling people, hey, go spend money on this. And it's like really, I mean, I watched the build up to this coming too. So it had me excited from the build up.
But on to actual news. It seems that John Carmack, one of the most important figures, I would say, or influential figures in the whole Oculus, origin story, has officially left Meta. He seemed to, he said he's got his own startup. So he goes, I got to focus on that. But he seemed a little critical of like what he would call bureaucracy, like inability to make changes. But Meta has like 60,000 employees.
So I will leave and start my own thing where other people way down that food chain are going to say the very same thing.
Well, if you ever grow to 60,000 employees, I'm sure it's so hard to make any change in a company that size that's publicly traded.
Not easily.
Yeah, I was even joking with you off air. I was like, shit, probably the only person that can honestly make a change is Mark Zuckerberg, and you're like, even that probably takes a couple weeks of meetings and
Phone
approvals
calls,
and
Zoom meet or not Zoom. No, they wouldn't use, they'd use Portal.
yeah,
Portal and VR.
right. But you know,
Dude, I got fired in VR.
I can only imagine the like the hair pulling out feeling. He said that he was never able to stop a bad idea that he thought was bad before it happened. He's like, years later, it would come out that I was right, and then it would get changed, but I could never stop the damage from being done.
You know what's funny about that is when I heard that, I was like, every company I think anybody's ever worked for
Has that same problem.
they've probably said to somebody like, hey, this is really not a good idea. And it turned out to be not a really good idea.
Now
But
imagine,
it's just showing you the levels of.
well, I mean, that shit happens at companies that are a couple hundred big. Imagine at a company that's tens of thousands.
Yeah.
That's if you can cut 11,000 people from your workforce, and that's not even close to 50%. It's like you guys are so fucking big.
Yeah. And there was a lot of outsourcing too.
Yeah.
So. No, and I mean, in my head, I envisioned after hearing like the word ecosystem so many times, it would almost make sense that it'll reach a point where anybody could leave or anybody could come, but
It's self-sufficient.
It's moving in the direction that it's supposed to, good, bad, or indifferent, with mistakes being made on the way.
Well, and if we're going to be realistic too, his position has, you know, slowly lessened and lessened throughout the years, you know, starting from being the CTO in Oculus when it was started to now it was kind of more of a consulting position. The writing was on the wall. He was slowly
Stepping
getting
away.
out. Yeah, he was a little critical of Meta back in October. So it's like, you know, the writing was on the walls. I'm not the most surprised.
That's how to keep your job.
Yeah. Hey, at least he left on his own terms. And
Yeah.
didn't
No. And for all the right reasons for him. And, you know, I don't think it's going to hurt future work being done to Oculus. So,
And he did say, hey, I think we will get there. He's like, it's kind of interesting that he goes, the Quest 2 is everything that I ever wanted to see in VR. It's standalone. It's good. He's like, I just think it took longer to get here than it should have. And he's like, to get where we want to go next is probably going to take longer. But we're there, you know?
I was born in 1970. I didn't think in my lifetime I'd see what I'm seeing now. So he can kind of pound salt with that one. Because in my head, we're like, I'm alive. I'm not 200 years old.
And you're using standalone VR.
I'm using standalone VR. And now there's this big push from all these other companies because they're obviously seeing cha-ching and are all trying to get into the market. So, I mean, it has nowhere to go but up. Even if at this point, if for some weird reason, Monday morning, Meta's like, we're all done with the Oculus, we're unplugging it, fuck you all. It's like everyone's already got that in their system. So they're going to start fiending for, I don't think it'll be Pico though.
No, I think the VR industry is
going to see Pico in America, dude.
Not with the recent talks about,
no,
you know, just because they're owned by ByteDance as well, same people that own
that's a wash,
TikTok.
kid.
Now it's like bipartisan legislation passing through of like, should we ban pass?
Just government devices right now.
Yeah,
unanimous. They passed it.
Yeah, there's legislation being proposed about banning any social media from China or Russia.
But right now they definitely have banned it on government devices.
Yeah. So
which had me wondering anyways, if like you're working for the government, why do you have why would you have Instagram or Facebook on a government fucking cell phone? Yeah. You should be ashamed of yourself. But if they have to tell you not to do TikTok videos in the FBI, there's a problem.
I do think the fear of getting banned is why Pico hasn't, you know, made a push to North America. Yeah, I think that they want to do it smart. They want to wait until that they know that they're not going to get freaking like, you know, news stories of.
I think the door is closed.
Yeah, we'll see. But in other news, I mean, it's of new headsets. HTC Vive, who's been teasing their new headset coming. You know, sadly, it's Bradley Lynch. He leaked some details of it. They officially released, you know, an actual like front render of the headset. Gave some details of it. You know, about the color pass through, and it's going to be a Quest Pro and Pico 4 competitor. No price released, you know, some basic features announced, but it's going to be fully revealed and announced at CES on January 5th.
How much do you think it's going to be?
I think if they want it to be a legit Quest Pro competitor, it has to be under the $1,000 price tag.
I think it's going to be $19.99.
What, like 2,000?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 2,000.
Well, here's my thought. when we were talking to Bradley?
If it's 2,000, it's not going to do.
But remember,
any
he was
damage
saying
to the
like,
market.
even if they build it, they're not going to order the amount of chips, obviously, that these other companies would.
He was talking about Valve for that.
Oh, that's right.
So
how many headsets do you think they're going to manufacture then?
I don't know. HTC is an interesting company. I'd love to try this
and
out.
Do they build anything cheap?
HTC's done a couple consumer friendly things.
Because the last time I saw anything from them, it was like you needed full room shit.
Yeah, they've done some very big enterprise type things too that are expensive. But it seems like this one's going to be standalone. That's what they're saying, and it's going to be able to be connected to a PC for PC VR. I don't know. Let's see.
To me, that seems like the easy part.
To me, I feel like we just got to tease. There's still so many questions about this. The main thing is going to be price. What's the price, and how does it actually? How much better than the Quest 2 is it?
I'll say 18. I'll go down from 2. 2 seemed a little extreme, but I'll say 18.
I'm gonna guess 7 to 9, $9.99.
Really?
$7.99 to $9.99.
That's a good deal.
If it's under 1,000, then this is a legit competitor. If it's the same price or more than the Quest Pro, it's not a Quest Pro competitor. It's not going to do anything to the market. So it all really depends on the pricing about it, I feel.
Yeah, it's going to be how they want to stance themselves as either we're part of that same level, or they're going to try to. I mean, because let's be honest, when Sony comes out with a headset, it's not going to be $700. Or not Sony.
Apple.
Yeah.
But let's also be real. Look how quickly the industry is
Sony's
moving.
already got a headset.
Right? They're dropping that. Well, they already have PSVR, and then PSVR 2 is coming out next year. But how interesting. Look how fast the industry changes that. Before October, the Quest 2 was what was on the line, and since October, we've gotten 3 headsets in like a new generation almost, between the Quest Pro, Pico 4, and now we're getting this HTC Vive one.
Yeah.
It's like, look how
23
fast
is going to be neat. I just can't wait for the Quest 3.
Yeah. So
let's hurry up and hustle on that, boys.
Right? Well, I want to know what's 2023 mean? Are we talking April? Are we talking December, like October, November? I'm guessing October.
I'm hoping by March.
I'm guessing
we hear a confirmed locked in date.
Okay, yeah, that I'm not expecting a release by March.
Well, let's be honest. If they did announce it in March, it would probably come out March 2nd.
Yeah, so realistically, we'll probably get an announcement, late September.
Let me pre-order now. I'll pay for it now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Because I mean, I'm no fool. I know the shit's already done.
But that's not how Meta's marketing goes. They go
just like games.
Announce. Yeah,
shit
that's
takes
how they
2
do.
years. Don't fool me, dude. It's like you already have one.
But
Let me see it.
That's why Meta do. They do that marketing strategy for their games and their hardware.
No, they're good.
When we announce the release date, it's 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. It's right around the corner. We're not going to announce the date and it's 6 months from now. That's not how they roll. It's real interesting. So I'm excited for that headset, but I got to give huge props to a game that we love, Golf Plus. Used to be Top Golf with Pro Putt. Now it's Golf Plus. They've always been so good at licensing, getting official license course, getting partnerships like with Top Golf, with Pro Putt, all that stuff. But they just announced that they have a PGA Tour partnership with new PGA Tours courses coming in 2023. That's freaking huge, for a game that's striving to be like the most realistic, golf sim, like the true to life one.
Mm-hmm.
A PGA partnership is next level for them.
That'd be the holy grail. I mean,
it'd be like a hockey game.
What else are you gonna
NHL.
get?
Yeah,
I mean,
They won.
You gonna go to the PPGA? No, there's only one.
Mm-hmm. So that's huge for them. I'm curious to see what that brings in 2023. Like, are you gonna?
That game has done nothing but push forward for what it's doing. Like, they have blinders on and they are plowing. And when we interviewed him, he was even like, "This is the plans for the future." And we were like, "Are you kidding me? There's so much shit he wants to get done."
Well, even between the first, we did 2 interviews with him.
Mm-hmm.
From the first interview to the second, their company grew a lot.
Still growing.
Yeah,
it's only getting better.
Hey, you get a PGA Tour partnership. I'm sure that they're going to be hiring even more. I'm sure the team's only going to grow. They've got investors.
Get to golf at like any golf course in the country or the world he wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking awesome,
dude. The way this is going, pretty much there's going to be a day, I think, that every official PGA course is going to be available in Golf Plus. At this rate, why not?
It's ready. Since we're going to an event tonight, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin had mentioned a couple weeks ago that I'll get a headset if they come out with a good golf game.
They got two. They got
And
Golf
Tracy
Plus and
goes-
Walkabout Mini Golf.
Tracy goes, who doesn't even play? She goes, they have Golf Plus, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what's that? So if the subject comes up tonight,
Mm-hmm.
we'll just jump all over him with the PGA.
People
licensing.
love golf. People love golf.
No, and his, I won't even say his, it's his company, but they've right from the get-go, out of the gate, they knew what they were doing. They had a goal in mind. They knew where they were going with it. I actually think it's gotten bigger than anything we were told was going to happen to it.
I think it's if we had asked him where he thought it would be today, back the last time he interviewed
I don't think it
him,
would be
no.
this. No.
They've gotten so many official license courses, and again, they've gotten investors, and this PGA Tour partnership is just next level. So
It's just another example of great companies produce great product.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the PGA believes in it.
mm-hmm.
And dude, I mean, anybody who even remotely plays golf, this is the perfect, like, oh, I can't play, it's winter. I mean, you're sold.
The two biggest golf games, Golf Plus and Walkabout Mini Golf, their companies are like some of the two best business savvy VR development companies. Seeing these, both of them are so good with licensing and everything. It's like, it's so interesting. The golf companies just slinging out here.
For their niche, the Walkabout having all the licensing, totally different, but for their niche, they're both geniuses with the licensing.
Yeah, no, again, it's like the two top golf companies, some of the best business
Walkabout
savvy.
would never, technically, they never even needed it. If they just kept making their own original courses, I don't think it would have hurt them one bit.
No, but I think for Golf Plus, I think the official licensing is essential.
Dude, it's a game changer. There is another good golf game out there we'll talk about in the future. But
Yeah.
it's not.
It doesn't have this type of branding, this type of licensing, official courses,
Not yet,
anything
no.
like that. Man, they got big props to Golf Plus. So, geez, I feel like we talk about this company every other week, but Resolution Games, they just had their showcase. So they showed some interesting news, one of which, Blaston is going free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure at one point they had raised the price up to $20 from $10, and now it's free. I was thinking to myself, if VR games were stocks, I would have been the one to buy it at $20. But the game's going free to play, and if you had previously bought the game, they're giving you in-game stuff to compensate for it,
which is fair enough because we saw other studio just flat out kill their game.
Yeah, so they probably looked at it. They're probably going to add different monetization options if I had to imagine. I mean, games got to make money somehow. But they probably looked at Ultimex, which they released as a free-to-play, and they were probably like, wow, free-to-play creates so much higher of a fan base or like player base, which sometimes I would go on to Blaston and I would not get real players. I would just get nothing but bots. So I think that they were like, all right, let's copy the model of Ultimex then. If that worked, let's make Blaston free.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. But
Who knows?
That was interesting to see. But they also announced one of their fishing games, which hasn't had an update in a while. It's kind of like Cookout, just kind of established, what else is there to do?
Mm-hmm.
They're adding multiplayer debate, so that was pretty cool. But Demeo, their new adventure, Reign of Madness, is now playable. And with that news, in 2023, the game is rising.
It's like a good stock.
To $40. So,
which current players won't care.
No, and to be honest with you, if you looked at the amount of content that was in it when it came out at its previous price,
it was one map, dude.
One map. So they've added 5
and the original list of characters.
Yeah, so they've added so much content, So I understand it. It is a way more in-depth game than it was. So Demeo,
I already own it. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
Nope. I mean, and to be honest with you, Demeo's on the must-own list of VR games. I would say it's like if you've been playing VR forever and you don't have Demeo, you've been slacking. Like it should be on your library already at this point. It's such a good one.
Yeah,
Single player, multiplayer.
I don't think they'll suffer just because of the amount of content that they currently have in it at the $40 price tag. I mean, part of me also says, well, if I was reviewing it today at $40, would I be like not a 20 because it's a little high? I mean, $39.99 is
that's the highest price on the Quest store. There's a couple games with it, Resident Evil, Iron Man.
We knew it was coming though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, at this point, Demeo's a premier enough game that I think that they can get away with it. And it's not like if they sold their maps, like their extra maps and stuff at an extra price, example, $3.99 a book, this would be a robbery price increase. But all the content in it is free.
They've given you more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
More than enough.
So you want to take a moment and take a little message from the sponsors
Yeah.
before we forget and go chitty chatting away.
Sure.
We have a bad habit of getting carried away talking. So let's take a moment. We'll get some words from our sponsors, help keep the light on. In the meantime, you can go join our official subreddit, our official Discord. Like I keep saying, and every week it's more and more. Discord's popping, so definitely go in there. You can find the links for those right in our show notes, our episode description, and there you can also find, how to support us on Patreon. So we'll be back with you in just a moment. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered. We are excited to announce our newest Ruff Talk VR podcast sponsor, VRlist.xyz, a marketplace for VR talent that just launched April this year and already has over 100 members as of October. At VRlist.xyz, they believe the metaverse will usher in new opportunities for all those who partake in it. With that, they asked a simple question: how can you find VR creators? Unhappy with the results they found, it was time to take things into their own hands. They've embarked on a journey to simplify how those looking for VR services can connect with those who supply them. VRlist.xyz is an open marketplace for VR creators, instructors, entertainers, and proprietors to proudly showcase their talents and spaces to potential clients. And with already over 100 vendors listed, including Stratus and yours truly, VRlist.xyz is quickly becoming the premier VR talent marketplace. Again, that's VRlist.xyz to find the right VR talent for your needs. And we're back. So real quick before we continue on the news, there's somebody that's been following our podcast for a while on Instagram. He goes by the name Gordian Keyforge, and it's been cool. I've been watching him go from like learning blacksmithing to actually being pretty damn good.
Posts really cool videos.
Yep. So I hit him up about, a custom Ruff Talk VR blade. So this is going to be our official unboxing blade. Obviously on podcast you can't see it, but it's freaking
You send us
sweet.
stuff and something, we're sticking it.
Right? Oh my goodness.
This thing's a killer.
Dude, for unboxing, hey, look at the sheath on it, that nice leather, and look at this beast. Look at this beast. For unboxing or home defense, I'm just kidding.
It's sharp too.
Oh my goodness, thing's a beast. So big props to him. I just kind of wanted to give a shout out. If you want to go check out his stuff, it's Gordian Keyforge. It's Gordian. But other than that, back to the news.
Yeah, he'll be on Forge and Fire someday.
You were saying,
I'd sent him a message a while ago. I'm like, because he had done something. I think he might have done a Damascus blade that came out really nice. And like shit. I mean, I don't know how much time he's spending on it. I'm sure he's not running a 3-hour clock to finish these, but his quality is good.
No, and he does a lot of VR content as well on some other pages. Obviously, that's how he came across us. So super cool guy. Thanks for the knife. That was freaking awesome. But back to Demeo. Demeo, besides raising their price and launching their new map, they also in 2023 are bringing PvP to Demeo,
which will be fun.
That'll be interesting. I'm always more of a co-op guy personally than like playing against you. I like to play with you.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of potential, especially if, I don't know fully how it's going to work, but if you could take teams of 2v2 or something like that, oh my goodness. But real interested to see how this is going to all unfold. But I'm definitely excited to see that drop in 2023. Big props to Resolution Games hosting their own showcase.
They've definitely
That's
reached
gangster.
the point that they can totally do that. They don't need to piggyback.
Well, they're a developer and publisher, so they have that benefit.
They put their money where their mouth is.
That's huge of them. So big props to Resolution Games there. Another game that we loved when it dropped. I need to go back on my notes. It might have gotten a perfect score from me. Vermilion, the painting app, the what I would call a Bob Ross style painting app, with great tutorial built in. The only thing that we had said when we reviewed it that would make the game even better was multiplayer. But we were like, oh, I fully understand if it doesn't happen. But now
it happened.
Multiplayer's out in Vermilion.
Yeah, that is a game changer.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. We can paint in the same room together now. Mm-hmm. Do you know how freaking awesome that is?
Well, I always envisioned like being able to have like a real artist host
they could.
Sure you can.
Yeah, you can.
And you can even save your print and have it printed.
Man, Vermilion was so good. Anybody who hasn't checked out Vermilion yet, go listen to our review of it. We even interviewed the developer. That was a great interview too, who, he even gave us the info that he was working on multiplayer, but said it was going to be a challenge. Didn't know how long it would take.
Didn't take too long.
No, great game.
No, took a great game and made it greater.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the ones that I could hear it in your voice, like in party chat while we were playing it. You were in love with it, just swirling the colors together, making different paintings. Don't be scared if you don't know how to paint. I don't know how to paint. I'm a terrible artist. They give you a amazing tutorial,
step by step,
and you're gonna have a good painting by the end. I promise you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know
can't tell
anything.
You how many times I painted that damn scene too.
Oh, it was so good. They did a great job at teaching you different elements, the way the game works. So huge props to Vermilion adding the one feature that we ever wanted, and now it's in the game. So that was freaking awesome. So on the last piece of news for this week, we had talked the other week that Pop 1 Sandbox mode was dropping. We finally, you checked it out.
I did. I built a little map.
Weren't the most impressed with the size of it.
Correct.
It's not the biggest play area.
No.
One bit, but it's hey, look, it still says it's early access on it.
I set up a real quick, remember how I said as soon as they do this, I'm going to do like the old school Counter-Strike AK versus Cult. So, I mean, for that, it's perfect because you can have 5 on one side, 5 on the other. You got some protective barriers on both sides. It's pistols only. You can set it to unlimited ammo. So you don't ever have to worry about ammo drops or any of that. No health potions, none of that shit.
But it's not like a full battle royal.
First to 15 wins.
Yeah, no, it's not the whole battle royale sized map by any means.
No, and I kind of get it. It's like the amount of usage. Because I was looking at, they give you a ton of different props to use. They give you a ton of different actions that can be done. Pretty much all the elements of the game you can put on this map size, but it's just not a big.
Yeah, but hey, maybe one day it'll grow. It still, like I said, still says early access on there, and this is kind of the first public release of it. So really cool concept. I'll probably still stick to public squad lobbies. But yeah, great concept.
I'm comfortable enough. Because here's the thing. If you make, let's be honest, if I really put time in to make a map, do you not think I'm going to put a couple of things in there that nobody knows about? Hello? So at some point, you're going to be playing these maps people make, and there's going to be shit in there that only a handful of people, and clans seem to be getting real huge with Pop 1 now.
Oh, yeah. We were playing with one of our Discord members, King Canuck, and not our best night of playing Pop 1. Still a great time.
Yeah.
I don't think I got a single kill.
We got smoked.
I got killed by nothing like level 60, then a 59, then a 61.
So many clans.
There was one game where I got killed 4 times and your ass just kept running, finding a safe spot, reviving. I'll give you a lot of props in Pop 1. You're very good at hiding. Just getting the hell.
Dude. Oh yeah, dude. I can hide in front of you.
There was that when we were playing, there was a time that you were getting hunted. Me and King Canuck got killed by.
Yeah, they were, all 3 of them were hunting me hard. They knew where I was.
You literally squatted on a rock.
Yeah.
Like in the open. But I even hate saying it on air because other people are going to start using it.
Who cares?
But Bones is such a good skin for hiding. He's so hard to find.
I just squatted down
on a rock, and they just flew right by you, all 3 of them, one by one.
Looking, too, because they were shooting rockets out in where they thought I was. And
you can't mess with Bones' hiding ability. No skin hides like him.
The
only thing that
Tactical Entrance 101 is always check behind doors and shit. So it's like, It amazes me when I can get away with that stuff.
Well, how many times have we survived because, both two partners got killed, and then one of us, because we both use bone skin, goes into like a top corner of a place or
just
like
waits.
boom.
Guys.
You'll see them all like looking around with their gun down there. It's the best. So, great.
Yeah, Pop 1 is weird right now though.
Between we talked about last week, between the skin cost and like it seems like that, there's still not any skill-based matchmaking.
Well, what's weird is you got all these clans, right, who are taking it, I'll say serious. I mean, some of them way too fucking serious, but they become so critical of new players because I'll constantly see new players posting in different groups like, I don't know how to play the game. It's my first game, and they're fucking yelling at me, and they're
that's not the way it used to be.
There's a lot of like
elitism.
Oh my god, dude! It's like it's a fucking game, right? Last I knew, there's no $1 million paychecks on the line here, so it's like it's cool you're getting clans and gearing up, but show me where you're making the money to justify even needing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that this is.
And then there's so much put down now of like lower level players or people who have. This is my other beef. It's like we all have different play styles. There's no wrong play style in Pop 1 because you have walls that are going to come in and squeeze you out. So even if you are camping, you're not going to get away with it very long because the zone's going to move.
No, we have the survive until the end mentality. Some people don't like that.
Will get so critical unless you just go full guns a-blazing. And
out
there's
in the open.
Other people that are going to criticize those who come out full guns a-blazing. And it's like just... I don't know. There's a dynamic that's changing with the community that I'm not necessarily on board with right now.
Well, I think that it's partially because they don't have skill-based matchmaking. So there's a good chance that you're going to get placed with these level 60s and 61s, which is the max level in the game. And, they're in clans and they're all just, taking it, like you said, way too serious. So, versus if the level 20s to 30s all got stuck together, it would make it, I think, that would be a much more casual experience.
When in the Counter-Strike days, because we were in a clan and we did tournament play and all that stuff. It's like we'd go into public servers as more of individuals than groups. Like we're not going to go in a group of 5 into a public server and try to play as a clan and take everyone out. That's ridiculous. We had our own server, which we could lock.
Yeah, you use that stuff as just practice.
You'd never go into a public lobby and just
how often do you see those same 3 letters in front of
nowadays,
all players? Yeah.
Oh, there's people all over the message boards now, like posting their stats and can I join your group and all this? And I'm like, no. Again, this is cool, but where's the money at?
It used to be a little bit more casual than it is now, definitely.
Yeah,
but I think
it always had a fair amount of toxicity that was acceptable. Whereas lately, I'll just say it's been upped.
Well, again, it needs skill-based matchmaking. So those level 60s that are all in clans, they can get stuck together. My ass.
Yeah, and then they'll get pissed because they're always playing good players, and that's the other thing. Is some of these guys aren't as good as their.
If you're level 60 and you're getting killed by another level 60, shut up.
Yeah,
that's who you should be playing against. But when
the infamous he's hacking.
But when there's like level 5s that just started the other week and they're getting mowed by level 61s, that's not good. Murked. You were laughing last time when you were playing. Like, it's such a rough spot right now for a new player. But skill-based matchmaking, that's all they have to do, which
for all the
there's
upgrades
no way they have it. There's no way they have it.
No, no, everyone knows they don't. But it's like for all the updates they've done and put time and money into and making their millions off of $20 skins now, they should give level-based.
Yeah, skill-based matchmaking. I think the player base is big enough for it. They already let you separate by a whole bunch of servers. It's like regions. So if you're going to have like region selection, I don't know.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but other than that, it was a pretty good week of news, I'd say. New headset coming next month at CES. The Resolution Games Showcase. John Carmack leaving Meta is sad.
Kiwi Design will be in Vegas. So if you are going, stop by Kiwi. Say hello.
Big props to Kiwi, our sponsor. They seem to be teasing that they'll have quite the booth, it sounds like.
From the photos I saw, it looks pretty massive.
Yeah, Kiwi's a badass company.
They're going to have so much good shit there. I'm jealous.
I'm so happy how early on into the podcast we got them as sponsor. I mean, let's be real. So we launched June of 2021, and I think they became a sponsor in January of the next year or December. So
Yeah,
it's like
no,
6
they
months
make-
into the podcast, we got them as sponsor. I think that they're number one. You know, there's nobody else I'd rather have. So
They make great products, and they've always treated us well. So, I
Mhm.
mean, I can't say anything. I still use everything they've sent us.
well, before we ever started the podcast, we always said like any advertiser we have, we need to actually believe in it.
Yeah,
We
I don't care
wanna
what
just,
we're talking about. It.
Mhm.
We better believe in it.
it better be good.
Bet your ass my balls are shaved.
So I feel
Manscaped.
Yep. These Manscaped nuts.
I'll
So
be wearing my watch tonight.
Yep. Oh no, I'm not wearing a Manscaped shirt. I almost wore the We Save Balls shirt, but it's like I feel very comfortable
Vinchiro.
telling people.
Vinchiro.
I feel very comfortable telling people go to Kiwi for your VR accessories. Like I know that they're gonna have a good experience.
I've never told someone to go there and buy something that they were looking for, and have anybody send me a message and go, I really wish I didn't buy that.
Their controller
It's been
grips.
quite the opposite. So
Their controller grips are still my sorry. I was gonna say it's still my number one VR accessory by far. Their head strap's good too. Their charging head strap.
I haven't found anything I don't like. So
That thing has saved my.
I'm jealous of what they're going to have in Vegas. So if you're out there,
Yeah,
definitely check them out.
My Quest 2 battery is getting pretty weak, so that charging head strap is kind of essential now. Otherwise, our play sessions would be very small.
I hear you.
Yours is worse than mine at this point. You'll get the stealth shut off all the time. No warning, or at least maybe you don't notice it.
Oh no, the
But
battery
boop.
pack from the Kiwi built-in one.
Saves our play sessions.
As long as I keep it charged.
Especially for the game that we're reviewing on Wednesday, which seems to be a time sink for me. Last night we were playing it. You know, we're going to talk about Gods of Gravity, a great game on App Lab. Interesting pricing structure, which we'll get to. But this has happened to me every time I play it. Like I'll play it 30 minutes longer than I mean to, because time just slips away. We finished last night, and I was like, it's past midnight. I was like, how the hell did this even happen?
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah, time melts with me on that game. So I'm excited to talk about that. And, you know, plenty of good news this week. So, you know, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Like I said, go check out the Discord. It's a party over there. Join the official subreddit. Maybe even give us a little Christmas Patreon. You know, why not? So, all right, check you out Wednesday with Gods of Gravity.